If you want to improve your marriage, you have got to improve yourself. Yes. Your marriage will not get better until you get better. Your marriage is a reflection of you. And in this video, I want to share with you the best way to improve your marriage. Let's get right into it. My friend, marriage is one of the most rewarding and challenging journey you'll ever embark on. I know. I've been married for 30 years. Yes, we didn't always have it figured out, but we never quit. We keep working on it and we got better at it. You see, marriage is a partnership, a reflection of love, and at times a mirror that reveal what's happening on the inside of you and in the inside of me. But here's the thing. If you've been hoping for your marriage to change, it's time to stop waiting for your wife, waiting for your spouse, waiting for your husband to get better. It is time for you to start. The best way to change your marriage, it is by changing you. I know that's hard to believe, but what do you have to lose? Think about that for a moment. My friend, this is where it all begins. If you are constantly pointing fingers, they need a change. Oh, you need a change. They need to do better at this. They need to do better at that. You are missing the most important part of the equation. And that, my friend, is you. Marriage has a way of magnifying who you really are. It really does. Marriage is a great reflector of our character. Or if I should say, marriage is a big revealer of who we are and who we are not. You see, the frustration, the argument, and even the misunderstanding, they reveal areas that is in us that needs growth. That's really what it does. It is showing us areas that we can really decide to work on so that we can be better. So the real question is, where can I grow? What can I do differently? Is it your patience? Is it your communication? Maybe it's your anger problem. You need to see an anger management specialist. I don't know. Maybe it's managing yourself because you cannot manage another person if you don't know how to manage you. Maybe you have been holding on to past hurt and you have not dealt with it. Maybe there's resentment. And it's affecting how you show up in your marriage. And you see, my friend, when you focus on your personal growth, everything else follows. Personal growth was so important that the first thing that God did when he created Adam was not give Adam a wife. God put Adam in the Garden of Eden to work it and to protect it. My friend, when you start working on yourself, and here's a crazy thing about it. When you start working on you, your spouse will notice. They may ignore it for a while, but after a while, they can't ignore it anymore because the reflection is evident that something is changing in you. You will become the model because of your behavior. You become the model. You become what you want to see in your spouse. It's a reflection of you. And now it will inspire change without you even saying a word. Mahatma Gandhi said this quote, that be the change that you want to see in the world. I said you need to be the change that you want to see in your marriage. Because when you change, everything around you will, including your marriage, including your spouse. Now let's talk about something that might sting a little. Yes. Your marriage is a reflection of you. See, I know that it's a hard pill to swallow, but think about it. I want you to think about it. See, the dynamic in your relationship right now, the way you communicate, the level of intimacy, the level of joy, your frustration, and how you feel, it is often a mirror of what's happening inside of you, what's happening inside of me. And guys, I want to ask you a big favor. If this video is adding value to you, then please do us a favor and just hit that like button. It doesn't take a lot of work to hit that like button if you want other people to see this video. That's exactly how the YouTube algorithm works. The more people like, the more they share, the more they comment on the video. That's the best way that you can help us to grow here on YouTube by supporting this channel. Hit that like button. Thank you so much. Now, If you're always frustrated, it's worth asking this question: what's going on inside of me? Instead of looking on the outside, you might need to do an introspection. You might need to take a look on what's happening in you, within you. See, what's the unresolved issues that you're bringing to the marriage? Have you ever think about that? Maybe you have built up walls of protection because of getting hurt in the past, or maybe you are operating on defense mode because of past experience with relationship, last marriage, or your last serious relationship. I don't know, childhood trauma. It could be anything. But here's the good news, my friend. When you start to change what's inside, it reflects change around you. It reflects change on the outside. And when you focus on healing your heart, you becoming more patient, you becoming more loving, more understanding, and your marriage start to reflect that shift. You know, it is said that when the tide rise, all ship rise. The Bible tells us that we overcome evil with good. And so if your spouse is negative, you be positive. You have to counter the opposite in order for you to get a better result. So remember, the state of your marriage often reflects the state of your soul. You are the common denominator. Yes, I said it. You are the common denominator in your marriage. And I know this can feel like a lot of pressure, but stay with me here. I want you to just come along with me on this journey. Because you see, when things aren't going well, it is easy to focus on your spouse. It's easy to stop doing what's right. Come on, talk to me. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, I'm done. I'm not doing that. I'm not whatever. You do you, I do me. And you start to live a selfish life. But if you really want to see change, if you really want to see the impact in your marriage in a very positive way, you have got to ask yourself, what's my role in this? That's introspection. That's looking in the mirror and saying, man, how did I play a role in this? What can I do differently? You see, and at the end of the day, you can only control one person, and that's you. You can only manage one person, and that's managing yourself. Of course, you can influence change in your marriage, and you should influence change, but you can only influence change through your change behavior. So rather than waiting for your spouse to make the first move or to change, recognize that you have the power to influence your marriage by changing the way you respond, the way you love, the way you show up, and the way you grow, and the way you lead. Oh, by the way, here is a truth bomb. You know, sometimes the very thing that you're asking of your spouse is the thing that you need to do. You need to actively do it. You're supposed to be giving, or maybe what you're asking your spouse to do, you're not giving yourselves. You might be asking your spouse to be more respectful, but are you respecting them? You're asking your spouse to be a little bit more loving, but are you loving towards them? You're asking your spouse to be a little bit more appreciative or show appreciation, but are you appreciating them? You're asking your spouse to be a little bit more, present, but are you present all the time? Oftentimes we're asking of our spouse what we are not willing to give. But are you offering these things to them? That's the question. Are you showing the kind of love and grace that you desire, that you want to see? Because if you are, eventually they're going to listen. They're going to respond to it. Remember that you are the common denominator. That's not a burden. It's a blessing. It's a blessing that you can show up and do the work necessary to help to shift the dynamic of your marriage. Because it means that you have the power to spark change. You have the power to let a little flicker becomes a blazing, blooming, ignite the essence of love. Here is another point. It's very important. This is good. Let's bring God into this. Yes, Bring God into the picture. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Let God lead the way. If you want to improve your marriage purely on your own strength, it's not going to work. You're going to hit a wall. You're going to reach a plateau. You're going to reach the zenith. You're going to be exhausted. And why? Because you can't do it without God. God is the author of marriage. He is the creator of this product, and He knows exactly how to make it work. But when you let God into your marriage, when you seek His wisdom and His guidance, things begin to shift. A matter of fact, the Bible tells us in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 and 6, that we must trust in the Lord thy God with all our heart, lean not on our own understanding, but in all our ways we must acknowledge Him. We must submit to Him, and He will direct our path. He will make our path straight. When you let God lead, when you let Him be the foundation, when you let Him anchor the marriage, He will show you areas where you need to grow. Yes, the Spirit of God will guide you into truth. He will guide your heart and soften your spirit, making it easier to love and serve your spouse in your marriage. See, a strong marriage is built on the foundation that includes God's word. It includes God at the center of it. So if you haven't already, invite Him into your relationship. What are you waiting for? Pray for your spouse. Pray for your marriage. And most importantly, pray for yourself to become the partner your spouse needs. You know, here's another point that I want to make with you. This is a good one. You need to lay aside the sins and the weight. Yes. Lay aside everything. You know, in Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 1, it tells us that lay aside the weight and the sins that so easily ensnare or strangled, entangled us, that beset us. That's what the King James Version said, beset us. So what does this mean in the context of marriage? What does it really mean? Well, there are things that we carry in our lives. There are things that you're carrying in your marriage that is weighing you down. It's weighing down the relationship. Past hurt, guilt, anger, unforgiveness, selfishness. And selfish people do not do well in a marriage. These are the things that entangled us, ensnare us, beset us, and it keep us from moving forward. And if you're holding on to these things, it's time to let it go. It's time to keep your marriage at the forefront of really what it takes to build this relationship right. What are the weights you are carrying that is affecting your marriage? That's a question. Is it unresolved conflicts? Is it pride? Is it adultery? Is it pornography? Is it secret sin that is slowly chipping away at the trust in your relationship? You know, whether it is, it's time to lay it down. It's time to surrender it to the Lord. And when you do, you find that you are not only freeing yourself, but you are freeing your marriage to grow and to thrive. Here's the bottom line. If you want to improve your marriage, it starts with you. Yes. Oh, yeah. You can ask God to change your spouse all you want, like I did. And God said, I'm going to start with you. You have got to work on improving yourself. Your marriage is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. And you are the common denominator that can change it around. But you don't have to do it alone. No, you don't. You don't have to do this by yourself. God is right there with you. Lay aside all the sins and the weight. Lay aside all the malice. Lay aside the anger, the frustration, the pain, and all of that stuff. And begin to understand that your marriage is a journey. It's not a destination. A successful marriage is not built in a day. It is built daily. That's why you need to grow daily. It's a daily decision. A successful marriage is not by accident. It is a planned event. And if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. It's about constantly growing, constantly evolving, constantly becoming one, being in a perpetual state of becoming, and letting God mold you into the partner that He calls you to be. So, what are you going to do? You work on yourself. And as you grow in God, as you grow in faith, as you grow in your relationship, as you grow, your marriage will grow stronger too. Yes, it will. And so, my friend, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys. And if you found this video helpful, make sure that you give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to hear this. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment sections. What's one of the area you want to grow in to improve your marriage? Let's keep the conversation going over there. And until next time, remember that your marriage is not easily broken. God bless you. Can't wait to see you soon.